Hey, everybody, this is Dr. Michelle, and I am so excited to have a special guest at Tab Talks. Now, many of you know we've been talking about for the last couple of months that we have one of our pieces of work that's going to be in the Great Lakes Christian Film Festival. And we're so excited because I have received a nomination for Best Director and Best Documentary. And I thought there would be no better person than to kind of walk us through the Great Lakes Film Festival than the executive director of the film festival, Sean Patrick Green. Welcome, Sean. I'm excited because you've taken 20 minutes out of your day to come and talk to us. And I know you're in the middle of planning a huge, huge Christian film festival. So you're the director, and this is one of the largest film festivals of its kind in New York, faith-based. Can you tell us a little bit about why you felt it was important to create a faith-based festival?
Well, in my area, which I would say is kind of counterculture, just because we have a lot of history. We have history of spiritual things, but I remember hearing somebody explain that since the '60s, there's been a lot of content change in Hollywood, and in our area, we've adapted a lot of people that are interested in the zombie genre movies, horror movies, suspense thriller, and everything just seems to have been getting darker. And I just felt like God was calling me to be a lighthouse in this sea of darkness, basically. In content wise, and I think that's why I'm here, really, and why God sent me back to this place, where I was born and raised.
Wow, that's a calling. So for our viewers that don't understand, I'm using the term film festival. Can you define for individuals who are watching who are like, what is a film festival? They had no idea what we're talking about. What is a film festival, and what does it do for the people who participate?
Well, a film festival can be different from theme or city. It all just depends on what the focus is. But a film festival generally is a place where films that are being made, usually unreleased films that you can't get it anywhere, come together, being submitted and screened, pre-screened, and given an opportunity to have an audience kind of get an idea of what the film is about and get immediate feedback before a distributor might pick it up and send it out to the masses or put it on a streaming service now. So it's basically just like a conglomerate of many films from all over the world. And ours is no different, but definitely not as large as like the more popular ones. I would say that's more international and more wide open is like Tribeca in New York City, Sundance out west in Utah, and a couple other ones, Venice, TIFF, which is 2 hours from us, Toronto International Film Festival. So it's really just a place for filmmakers to pre-screen their product, some of them before they're even on the market to be sold. And sometimes during these places, they will have deals with distributors that are attending, or at least begin the talks of a deal for distribution. So that's like the base part of why film festivals exist, but it's also probably your best place to get industry insights with workshops, and also you have an opportunity to talk to some of these filmmakers one-on-one, while they're right there. So it's really it's a unique opportunity to bring not only just the industry people, but fans of film to come together and meet and greet, encourage maybe newcomers to do what they want to do in the industry, and networking. I mean, that's the key to a film fest, in my opinion. With this COVID thing, we had a lot of them go online, and missing from that mix of screening at your house versus in person is that you don't have the personal touch, the interaction, the networking aspect of a film fest. And now that we're I would say we're 100% back in most festivals now, this is the focus, is bringing people back together, having conversations and encouraging each other. And that's no different for us.
Well, you're going to have this amazing film festival in Buffalo, New York. Tell us about the venue and how many people it takes to put together an event this size.
Well, we kind of started in this venue. It's my home church. And the very first 2 years we started it and posted it there. And it was a very small gathering when we first started out. But we had a couple key people that were looking for content for networks that showed up. And I mean, the first year just kind of showed me like, I guess I have to take this a little bit more seriously, you know? So I wasn't sure what to expect the first year. We had over 100 submissions, or close to 100, and we had to narrow it down to about 50. We screened as much as we could, and we didn't have workshops really, and we just kind of created 2 on the fly with some local people and just, you know, screenwriters, and then a fundraiser, and that was pretty much it. And then whoever was there just kind of talked a little bit. But first 2 years, first year for sure was like the roughest, you know. Second year, I started it out after we set it all up. I started out having a stomach flu or something. I don't know what happened. So for the first 3 hours, I didn't screen anything. It was a Thursday, or I think it was a Thursday, and you know, nobody was there anyways. So I'm like, oh, good. So I slept it off. As soon as I woke up, then people started coming. I'm like, oh, okay, perfect timing, you know. But anyways, it was just the first 2 years was rough, and it was in my church. And then we took it out 5 years to the Millennium Hotel, which is just a suburb of Buffalo, about 10 miles from here. And then last year we had it in a village of East Aurora, which is just like a Christmas card village type of place. And I had a great time to do it there. And now we're bringing it back to the Bread of Life Church. And typically the first couple years, it was really just me putting it off. And as people saw me struggling, they started saying, hey, what do you need help with? And little by little, volunteers started showing up. Last year, we had an army of volunteers to help out. You know, I think it was about 25, maybe 30 people.
Wow.
Maybe even more. And it was great just having them on standby. And it was kind of like in a rotation, not all at once. But we had a great award ceremony and everything. It was just such a beautiful time. This year, we're bringing it back home. And I think we have, if I'm not mistaken, like the main sanctuary has about 300 seater. We're definitely not a mega church. And we have a fellowship hall that we're going to be having food and documentaries and kind of like intertwined. Yeah, it's year 8, and we got more volunteers than I can imagine now. And people are just loving the whole atmosphere of bringing people together and networking and learning from industry people on certain topics. And this year we have our guest this year, our main guest that I hold dear to my heart, is International Christian Film Festival founder, Marty Jean-Louis. This is his 10th year hosting his film festival in Orlando. And I asked him if he wanted to come on up, and he's very happy to come up. Gave me some good pointers, and I basically asked him, hey, if you're willing to come up and just kind of observe, what can we do better? And New York State, you know, we're a liberal state. We're not conservative, so we won't see as many art people come to town for a faith-based film festival. Usually it's the faith-based community that will come to these types of events. And as a more of a liberal state, we don't have that many people as conservative. So the locals would have to get something more out of it than just a faith theme. So we do have industry type people that have not just faith insight, but across the board, directing, acting, producing, and so on. So we got some great people coming. I'm excited.
Wow, I'm excited too. Okay. Anybody who's worked in the faith understands it's not easy. And in the movie industry, you hear that it's very disheartening. So what things are you doing in this industry to make it different, maybe for someone who's not into the blood and the gore and some of that, to say we really are trying to make really good film here.
Well, yeah, I do want people who, and we do have people in our area, we would like to have more faith-based, family-friendly content produced here in this area in Buffalo, which is one of my incentives for doing this too. It's not just bringing in people to speak to other filmmakers and bring them all together. It's also a resource for our local people who are on the fence, if you will, about should I do, campy comedy or, something that has a little faith in it, or should I make it a little bit more, ambiguous and, or just something simple enough with a lot of visual effects with gore and all that stuff, whatever it is that they want. There are some people that are just looking for, maybe this is another direction I can go where I'm proud of the content for my kids and grandkids to watch. It's not worse than seeing your grandmother's head get chopped off, on a film. It's like, maybe we should rethink what content we say yes to. And hopefully we are encouraging people to do that, as well as the producers, people who have the money to spend. Should we spend it on making a gore, a gory type of theme and submit it to all those gore festivals? Or, hey, there's an outlet to do something a little bit more family friendly. Let's submit it to something like this. So we're just trying to encourage people to do something more positive. And also the Christians who are strong in the faith, encourage them to just say, listen, use your gifts for the glory of God, period. So that's our target audience.
So tell me, what's been the greatest success story that's come? This is year 8 for you coming up. If I had to say what's like the aha moment for you in this festival, what would you say that's been?
That's hard to limit it to just maybe one, but last year was an amazing opportunity. We had a film that was made in Greece. Mickey Rourke, was a phenomenal actor, was actually featured actor in it, and it's called Man of God. And Man of God was based on about 100-year-old, not a 100-year-old person, but the person 100 years ago in this story was persecuted by his own group of people that were Orthodox, Eastern Orthodox. And so basically his story of through his persecution, how he overcame it, and a miracle that happened. And Mickey Rourke's character, received his sight. And a lot of people in the Greek Orthodox community was anticipating this film. I had no idea about who this person was. That's not the denomination I grew up in or even was on my radar. But I had a cousin who married a former Buffalo cop who became a priest, and he, took over a church in Niagara Falls eventually. And he was the first person I thought of to invite. And I said, you know what? Reach out to my cousin. I reached out to her. She says, oh my God, blah, 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 blah. We're waiting for this film. I was like, okay, we might have something here. And so these are people that weren't into the film industry or looking at a film festival. They just wanted to see this movie specifically.
Wow.
And we had it in our possession because of the submission process. And I said, well, we gotta market this out to the Greek Orthodox community. And we had the Aurora Theater last year, which is a 650 seater. We did not pack it, but we did about almost half of that was full of just black robed priests and their family members, plus a few of our attendees to watch this feature film. And to me, that was one of the most exciting and successful, releases, premieres that we've ever hosted. And I'm real excited about that we did that and provided that service for the Greek Orthodox community to be able to watch that film exclusively ahead of time before it's released. So that's what I like doing. I like making sure we can get a premiere and bring something to the table.
Now, you also are going to have music, correct, at this festival. So for people, it sounds like there's a little bit of something for everybody, including music. Can you tell us something about that?
I think because I'm a very eclectic person, I also like variety, and music is a big part of my life. I'm a drummer at my church, and I used to beatbox about 30 years ago. Uh, but that's about it. So I was in a rhythm, but music in general has been a central part of me in worship and all aspects of my life. Hip hop was a genre I grew up in and with, and we have the last 20 years I've been associated with a lot of Christian hip hop artists throughout the country. I did some radio promotion for some of them. So, and I have my own online internet station called Flavor Radio Network. And that all just kind of is a part of me too. And there's one artist that I've had friendships with, and I brought him to our church for a Friday night youth event, or Christian hip hop event, really. And I'm bringing him back because he's got a documentary that he submitted about his record label and his journey and throughout, serving God as an artist. He's going to present his concert too on that Thursday night on September 8th. So his name is Brinson Wright. He's another special guest, not only a submittee, but he's also a featured person that we're gonna have, because he's not just a Christian hip hop artist who's not schooled in the industry or the world. As a matter of fact, he was going to college for music before he decided to actually do that as an artist. It's talking about the industry of it, the mechanics, the management, the licensing, you name it. This guy learned it all before he even launched a label and became an artist. So he's going to bring a lot of his knowledge and experience to the table as well. And we're probably going to have him do a short session as well. Time constraints. We don't have a 10-day festival like some might, or a 5-day. We crunched it all into 3 days. So, but it's going to be action packed, nonstop, all kinds of stuff people want to glean from.
Okay, so everybody, if you're sitting there thinking, wow, what else? There's going to be music, there's going to be a concert, and it's going to be action packed. And so tell us, can a person, if they just want to attend for one day, can they just get tickets for one day? Can they just come, like maybe I'm going to start on Friday or Thursday? Can they do that if they just want to just kind of hop in and out of the different sessions?
Yes. So for we have two different ways you want to do it. If you want to go for all 3 days just for the workshops, I believe it's $30. If you want to go just for the films, it's $30. If you want to get the whole experience, it's $50. The only exception is the awards dinner and award ceremony. That's $40 extra. But the rest of the time you can watch films and all that stuff for $50. If you want to go for just one day.
You're right. That's a great deal. Let's not forget that day pass. It's only $30.
So anyways, yeah, glcff.com. You'll see a little tab that says attend, and then our tickets will be right underneath that. But if you want to we have a full experience, which includes the swag bag, the awards ceremony and dinner. We have a special event that we're doing off campus at the it's the Quaker Walden Galleria. We're actually going to be doing the as a group, watch the premiere of Life Mark, which is a Kendrick Brothers' newest film, and it's actually their premiere. They're not going to be there because they'll be in Atlanta for their premiere, but we are hosting the premiere. The honorary actor award that we're giving Rich Swingle to, he's also going to be kind of like our special guest at that screening. So, and he's worked with the Kendrick Brothers before. So anyways, man, it's just going to be for like $200, I think it is. You get the whole experience of everything. We'll be feeding you. You'll be at all the events, and I'm working on one more film that haven't heard from yet. But if we can get this in last minute, it's going to be a very special presentation. So we're working on
Okay.
that.
Well, you know what? I'm excited. And are there other opportunities? I know the filmmakers will be there, the producers will be there. What if somebody just wants to act or they want to meet a producer? Is this a place they should come and just
Oh,
kind of hang
absolutely.
out?
Absolutely. I mean, producers go to film festivals to screen their films, but there's a lot of them that will come really just kind of networking and finding people that could be good camera people or sound or actors or whatever other aspect that they might be looking for. They might find people like that there. And we have workshops Friday are going to be producer director focused because for the most part, the filmmakers will be there on Fridays for sure. And then people who are actors generally are not acting full time. They will come on Saturday. So we'll have workshops for actor focus with also a presentation from Rich Swingle and the award show. So yeah, you can glean a lot more from it as a potential or a what's the word I'm looking for, a aspiring actor. We have
Wow.
we might have this casting call that we've been kind of contemplating having again, which is immediate feedback. You bring a monologue or you read a script that we have, and then you got 2 or 3 people that will give you immediate feedback on how they felt that went. So and we'll also have a little media room for people who have podcasts like yourself. You can sit in on this room and interview people throughout the day, if you need to. So
Wow.
so yeah, I do recommend you coming out with a couple recording devices if you can.
Wow. Thank you. That's
Yeah,
good to
yeah,
know.
yeah. We'll have our
You
little
know what?
nice, pretty step repeat so everybody can have red carpet look and all that stuff with the picture. So you got everything.
Sean, I'm so excited, and I hope our audience is just as excited to check out the Great Lakes Christian Film Festival. And I always give my guests the last word. So, what do you want to leave the audience with? Because I'm really pumped about your festival now.
I'm pumped too. Before today, though, I finished an international competition. It's just called the 48-hour film project. And so I had a team of 25 of us this weekend. We made a 7-minute film in 48 hours. So, and this goes on. This is my 7th year participating with them. And this year I was director again, producer, and the people last minute showed up and it was perfect timing. And I'm telling you, let me just tell you, this is God doing it. So leading that into what I think is the best for anybody who's creative, because you'll get a lot of people who are, well, I'm apostolic or I'm a bishop or, people who are in the authority of a church that are pretty tight, schedule, let's do things right, decently in order. But then you got people like me who are the creatives in the bunch, in the congregation, who don't think the same as the concrete thinkers do, and a little bit more abstract sometimes, and comical sometimes just, you got to pray for that person type of thing. But creative people don't get frustrated by people that don't understand you or see what you see, because you see differently. Just like, just take the fivefold ministry. You got apostle, pastor, preacher, apostle, prophet, preacher, teacher, evangelist. None of them think alike, and they all see what the kingdom of God is differently. Even though God clearly explains his expectations, there's all different perspectives on how that looks. So how we approach it personality wise, but also gifting wise, is very different.
Very different.
And as a creative, we can get frustrated, we can get depressed, sad sometimes, I don't know how to explain it, but like, woe is me, why can't I do what you're calling me to do, God? Nobody sees what I see. This could be a great play on stage in front of the church, and pastor won't let me do anything. See, I get that, because I've presented a lot of ideas that were shot down. You got to just submit to that authority, even though you might not agree with that decision or at the time. God wants you to learn and perfect your craft first anyways. He doesn't
Yeah.
want to put garbage out there. You know what I mean? He doesn't want to put something on stage displaying, representing him that just is cringeworthy for the audience. First of all, do you have it written down? Do you have an order of how you would present it? Have you practiced it? Do you have any idea what you're doing, or is it just like a spontaneous idea? Get around people who are not just crafty at the actual presentation, but organizing it too, and having you think about it a little bit more about how you present it. And then also acting coaches. You need those types of people when it comes to being creative, when it comes to acting, presenting a podcast or whatever. Feedback is very important. Doesn't matter. So film festivals are a great place for people who document that on film. But when it comes to like live stage or something like that, you got to have somebody that's kind of watching you to see how you'll do your presentations, how you write it, what kind of lighting and sound you'll be using. You know, just it doesn't even have to be, you know, an acting. It could be painting. It could be basket weaving. You know, I was thinking just yesterday, actually, I was thinking, okay, if you're gifted at basket weaving or crochet or whatever, and you want to get it out there, why don't you create an arts and crafts festival? Just think about, you know, there's ways to get your work out there to people.
Yes.
But you got to start building those communities if it doesn't exist. And, you know, just don't get discouraged. You know, God has given all of us gifts. Every one of us, we have a gift.
Yes.
And the gift that you want to demonstrate, you might not be gifted in yet because you haven't practiced it. But some people, they don't have the voice to sing. And that's okay.
It's okay.
You don't have to lead worship, okay? God will give you at least a little outlet to sing with the choir or something, but you might not be gifted to sing lead. You know, don't be discouraged by that. Practice it. Get a voice coach. See if it's still something that you can develop. And if not, then you got to rethink that, if that is the gift that God gave you. And gifts aren't necessarily just physical, which we call talents, but it's also the spiritual thing. You know, are you really a prophet? You know, or are you just babbling things that you're observing from other people and putting it out there in public?